El presente del subjuntivo, información de módulo 2. Cuando usamos el presente del subjuntivo? This is a reminder that we talked about this in the formation of the present subjunctive, but it's important to talk to you about this again. So the present subjunctive can only be used when a subordinate clause is present. I have the little asterisk there. There are some exceptions to the rule, but we're not worrying about those right now. What really needs to happen is you need to have two clauses or subjects and que. So here's our example from before. Again, yo quiero que mi familia venga este verano a Iowa City. I cannot form the subjunctive unless I have two subjects, such as yo and mi familia, and that que. Cuando usamos el presente del subjuntivo? Remember that the subjunctive is a mood. Therefore, in Module 2, we will use the present subjunctive in the following ways: to express probability, certainty, and to evaluate ideas, to express necessity and to give advice, and to express hope. So in this PowerPoint, we're not talking about verb conjugations at all. Rather, we're talking about the other important part of the subjunctive, which is knowing when to use it. So first, that first category was express probability, certainty, and evaluate ideas. So the table below illustrates phrases that you would use, followed by que. You always need to have que to create a sentence using the present subjunctive. For example, es probable que los estudiantes estudien mucho. I have que, I have los estudiantes. Es probable is not quite a subject, so that could be kind of hard, but just know that when you have phrases like that are on this slide, they're known as impersonal phrases, and these are what are needed in this sense, in this situation, to form the subjunctive. So know that you need one of these phrases, que, and then your subject with the verb. With this first category, there's an important distinction of certainty that we need to talk about. So one of the many uses of the subjunctive is to express uncertainty or doubt. That's why the phrases that are under this certainty column in the table are all negative. But the minute that those phrases become positive, we have to use the indicative mood, which is not the subjunctive, it's the quote-unquote normal conjugation that we've been using up to this point. So if I have no está claro, it's not clear, that's subjunctive. But the minute I make that affirmative, está claro, it's clear, it becomes indicative. Same thing with the other examples here. Here are some other example sentences to talk about that idea of certainty. So in the first example, we have no es evidente que los estudiantes necesiten leer más. So it's negative. We're saying it's not evident that the students need to read more. It would become subjunctive. In the second example, es evidente que los estudiantes necesitan leer más. That's our indicative. That's our normal before we do the yo chop flop. And that's because we're saying it is evident that. So it's certain. So even though this category talks about certainty, subjunctive is actually talking about uncertainty. The second category is to express necessity and to give advice. So the table below has phrases, once again, that you would use using que, always need que, to create a sentence using the present subjunctive. Unlike certainty, it doesn't matter if these phrases are positive or negative, you'll always use the subjunctive no matter what. Here's an example of some phrases that use the necessity or advice. So, ejemplo uno, no es necesario que compres lápices. Ejemplo 2, es recomendable que nosotros pensemos en la pedagogía. Our third category is to express hope. So once again, we have a table below that illustrates the phrases you would use followed by que to form the present subjunctive. Once again, it doesn't matter here if it's negative or affirmative. You'll always use the subjunctive with these phrases. Here's an example of expressing hope. Espero que hagas la tarea muy pronto. So in summary, here are the different phrases that you would use to form the subjunctive. You can see that under certainty, I have 3 in blue to indicate indicative. In those situations, you wouldn't use the subjunctive, but in all the others, you would.